Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. We are the Orion Twins. I am Orion Vega, and today I will be talking about how I did this wallpaper. This wallpaper I made for the birthday and 5K sub-celebration. Usually, I like to post like a process. Like I post a sketch, and then the liner, or, the process, but just text-based, right? But this time around, I did want to record a speed paint. Well, I did record a speed paint of how I made this on my laptop. This is it. Kind of small. I'll make it bigger now. Where is it? Here it is. Yeah, there it is. The full size one. Kind of like a spring illustration. Yeah. So without further ado, I think we should start with my voiceover. Yeah. So here it is. I did a voiceover because I can't talk and draw at the same time, right? Or at least if I'm gonna speed it up, then it wouldn't make sense. So yeah, I usually start with the sketch. As you saw, it was very quick and rough. I don't spend too much time sketching, only because I'm just trying to get the idea out. So the idea was like of a spring illustration, like a spring theme, right? And here I am doing the line art. So line art, I like to spend I don't spend too much time on line art, but I do like to make my line art kind of clean as I can make it. But my line art has more of an emphasis on clean lines versus line width. So it kind of gives it more of a flat look. And I know some good line art has varying line width, but this is what I usually try for. Later I'll go in, maybe if you can see it, later I'll go in and add some line width at little different parts of the art. So yeah, there I am. I'm sorry, this is my first time doing a voiceover. I usually don't use references when I'm drawing, so that's why I spent a long time trying to get the arm down and trying to, figure out how Eve is holding the flowers. But yeah, I had to add some stars into the illustration, of course, because I use stars, right? So since line art is fast, I jump right into doing flat colors. And I use the magic wand tool. Very basic, just adding flat colors, some patterns. As you can see, sometimes I did forget some details. Oh, I think I just noticed I forgot Eve's fish on her head. As always, I forget Eve's fish on her head. But after the flat colors, I usually like to add the details. So I'm adding the stars that are on our outfits and other things like that. Yeah, it's fast. I usually just go in and do it fast. But I do like to add all the flat colors in before I start shading, which is why I'm going through and adding all the colors before I start doing any sort of gradients or whatever. There was one part there that you saw that I did select everything and then like reverse the selection. I use a dark color to fill in any gaps. So it's really fast. The speed paint is really fast because I move really fast. The background was very fast, and I did little flowers like that because it was gonna get blurred anyways. Yeah, so it paused. Wait, I think I can't even pause it. Okay, and then I do shading with the magic wand tool all over the entire image as one separate layer, and then I put it to multiply, so I don't have to go in through every single little layer to add black colors. And I also go in and change the line art colors as well. It was pretty quick. I don't know if you caught it, but I do go in and change the line art colors. It makes everything look a little bit more together, right? And then it's almost finished. The speed paint. I add a little shadow in the back to make the characters pop out, and I'm working on the background now. I'm sorry, this is my first time doing something like this. I added the spaceship in the back because it felt a little empty. And then also I added the flowers in the front for the foreground, but they're not too detailed because again, I was gonna blur them. But I added some flowers, added some grass. And I didn't put too much detail on things in the foreground or anything that's getting blurred because it's gonna get blurred, right? Kind of like camera focus, right? Yeah, I added some effects at the end. And then the balloons was for the birthday version. I didn't record everything for the birthday version because it was like a last minute idea. So anyway, now that it's paused, I can catch up a little bit about what I was doing. At the end, you did see that I did add some like sunlight effects, some kind of glowing borders. It was just also to give it kind of like the atmosphere, but like a spring atmosphere. But I usually tend to use a lot of kind of like cheats, I guess, to make the art look the way that it does. So, you know, things that are gonna get blurred tend to get less detail, less focus. I don't spend too much time on it. The spaceship, I think, took me, you know, like a minute to do. I think the total time for this piece was 1 hour and 40 minutes. Yeah. And usually I take about an hour. So this one I actually spent some more time working on because I really did want to make it special. But I'm sorry, stars, if you didn't understand any of my rambling. I guess I can just explain it now, what I do with the art. Let me just put the art right here. Yeah. So sketch, quick sketch, a quick sketch just to get the idea out. Then I do a liner on top of it, kind of refining the sketch, kind of refining the idea that I want. Then I jump into flat colors, followed by adding little details on the clothing. And then I add shading on a separate layer on top of all the colors using the magic wand tool and the multiply or the shade image setting. Yeah. And then after that is all just the effects. So at that time I'll do backgrounds or any other little special effects that I want. Yeah. I hope it makes sense. I use Paint Tool, Side Tool, and my Wacom tablet in order to do these kind of digital drawings. And I got just a little bit of an insight into what I do, right, stars? Alright, stars, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!